Please join me in welcoming to the stage Congressman Paul Tonko. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you one and all for the invitation to join with you this morning, and happy Clean Energy Week. What a great way to bring people together in a common mission that speaks to the needs of this nation and certainly this world. And I thank Greg again for his introduction and the tremendous work that you do through ACOR, and we love partnering with you on several of the concepts that are being addressed to achieve some very lofty goals. And I also thank Heather Reams as the rep for Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions and all the other organizations that have helped make National Clean Energy Week possible. There are so many great partners here working to make this week a success, and more importantly, our nation, the global leader in clean energy. I've spent my career from the State House of New York and over to NYSERDA, the New York State Energy Research Development Authority, where I headed that as president and CEO, to now my work in Congress to promote the development and the deployment of clean energy. I'll be honest, there were some lonely nights driving around New York State to talk with people about how deregulating our electricity market might impact workers and consumers. But today, everyone wants to talk about energy and environment. A decade ago, it would have been unthinkable that there would be a couple dozen people running for president with detailed clean energy and climate plans. We have come a long way, and that is a testament to both your advocacy and the efforts to build successful businesses employing people in every congressional district across our great nation. And I think it is fitting that it is also Climate Week in New York. In recent months, we have all been witnessing the increasing public awareness and demand for federal climate action. And I really appreciate the passion and the sense of urgency that people, especially young people, are bringing into this debate. Just last week, I stood with thousands of strikers outside the Capitol building, and I sincerely believe everyone in this room understands the business and job opportunities that will come with a transition to a cleaner economy. We need to appreciate that the broader public understands that also. Clean energy has approval ratings that we are not accustomed to seeing in Washington. We have a great opportunity to seize this moment and make certain that the clean energy revolution continues and accelerates so that we are researching, manufacturing, and deploying these technologies across the country and exporting them around the world. But despite this support, we still have big challenges to get to where we need to be on clean energy innovation, on deployment, and certainly on emissions reductions. Some of that must start with an acknowledgement of our current political constraints. Enacting a comprehensive climate bill is not going to be possible this Congress. But we know there are meaningful policies that stand a chance of garnering bipartisan, bicameral support this current moment. I see a few areas where we might be able to make clean energy progress in this, the 116th Congress. First, on tax. I know many groups here have specific provisions that want extended, in some cases retroactively, and others providing long-term certainty. This is an area where we must be looking to legislate and cooperate. I recently joined colleagues in the House Sustainable Energy and Environmental Coalition, SEEK, to launch a letter calling for critical clean energy tax policies to be included in must-pass legislation this year. We have specially identified a fix for the EV tax credit, the creation of a standalone storage ITC, extension of the ITC for all other technologies, including making wind eligible and energy efficiency credits as priorities. That letter is circulating for signatures in the House as we speak, and I hope we will have a good showing of support from colleagues. Second, there is strong support for energy R&D programs. As we move forward on appropriations, I really hope that we can restore proposed cuts to all energy research offices, including ARPA-E, including EERE of the Office of Electricity, Fossil, and Nuclear. I am also excited by the work being done by Chairwoman Johnson and our House Science Committee. Bills to authorize parts of EERE and ARPA-E and address industrial decarbonization are all moving through her committee. These bills, for example, the ARPA-E reauthorization, have support ranging from the United States Chamber of Commerce to NRDC and many groups in between. The energy innovation agenda is critical. We must push DOE to focus on long-duration storage, low-emission industrial products, cleaner fuels for aviation and shipping, battery recycling and disposal, and direct air capture technology development, amongst other areas where we truly need breakthroughs. Third, on energy efficiency, the House Energy and Commerce Committee has advanced several efficiency bills, including a reauthorization of the Weatherization Assistance Program that I hope will come to the floor before the end of the year. These are just a few areas where I believe we can work together, and I would welcome your feedback on how we might be able to get some of these priorities over that finish line. Because these near-term efforts are critical, and I hope at least some can be enacted this Congress. While many of these areas include well-developed policies, we also need to bring fresh ideas into our policy debates. I've been working on a number of new bills that I hope will be introduced in the coming months that are focused on streamlining the permitting process for distributed energy resources such as rooftop solar, deploying more publicly accessible EV charging infrastructure, and enabling the grid infrastructure necessary to employ vast amounts of remotely located renewable energy by improving the interregional planning process for transmission. It is great that FERC is looking at transmission incentives. Discussing transmission is a surefire way to lose friends, but indeed is important. I do not believe we can achieve our clean energy targets without building new and expanding the capacity of existing lines. Trying to understand these types of challenges and finding workable solutions has been at the core of what the Environment and Climate Change Subcommittee has been trying to do as we develop our comprehensive approach to addressing the climate crisis. As we work to enact as much as we can right now, we've been working to develop comprehensive legislation. In July, the Energy and Commerce Committee announced that we would hold hearings and stakeholder meetings with the goal of developing legislation to transition to a 100% clean economy, defined as net zero greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2050. So far, we have held hearings on pathways to decarbonization and reducing emissions from heavy industry and from buildings. We plan to focus on heavy-duty transportation and the power sector in the months ahead. These hearings do not have a predetermined outcome. There is a genuine interest to understand the challenges we face as well as the potential solutions. And we have heard a lot of agreement from both sides of the aisle. We have heard that achieving economy-wide net zero emissions by 2050 is ambitious, but possible if we get started right away. And I can guarantee you, my drive is to have it be science-based, evidence-based. We have heard broad support for technology inclusivity and neutrality when possible. Climate change is too serious and too urgent to take potential solutions or technologies off the table. We have heard the importance of emissions reductions from all sectors of our economy. The power sector is a critical piece to the puzzle. There are cost-effective solutions available today, and we can enable cross-sector reductions through electrification, but we need to think beyond the power sector. We have a lot more work to do and cannot stop at electricity. We are committed to taking this rigorous approach, trying to build consensus and relying on policies that are based on physics and engineering, not politics. Expect to see more details in the months ahead, but in the meantime, we welcome your input in this process, because I believe almost all of us share a common goal of putting forth technically and politically feasible solutions that are cost-effective, protect low-income energy consumers, promote United States competitiveness, and invest in energy innovation and infrastructure while ensuring meaningful emissions reductions. But to achieve our targets, we must go beyond research funding and tax incentives. We need the mechanisms that guarantee emissions reductions. I believe this can be done primarily through market-based policies, but the policy design matters, and we need an approach that can garner support from the groups represented here today. So this is a good place where I can make my request of you. Please think about your priorities for this effort and reach out to our office and my colleagues. We want to work with you to build consensus and develop policies that are science-based and data-driven. And ultimately, at some point, we're going to need your help. How you choose to engage in this debate will determine whether we succeed in achieving our climate goals and whether the United States can fully seize the opportunities created by this clean energy transition. Whether it is a short-term priority or development of our long-term vision, I look forward to continuing this dialogue and working together. I'll share with you that I'm old enough to have witnessed the global race on space. I saw us competing efficiently, effectively, with all the tools at hand to win that race. We came together as a nation, regardless of party affiliation, regardless of background or regional differences, and we achieved. We landed that person on the moon first, and it was a glorious moment in 1969 when we made that small step for man, giant step for mankind. I saw the nobleness of technology, of science, of engineering. I saw the nobleness of politics with a small n, and it drove me to be the engineer I am today and to be involved in public policy and politics today. So let's have another Sputnik moment that drove that national, international race on space. Let's have that passion, let's have this drive, let's come together as a nation, and let's have leadership at the top of this nation that concedes that there is global warming, there is climate change, and that we shall achieve it in a science-based, evidence-based manner. Thank you, everyone. Happy Clean Energy Week. Enjoy your getting together here, and what you do is going to inspire us and encourage us and challenge us. Thank you, everyone.